Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It is 6:45. We do apologize for having been tardy. We were kept up in closed session there for a little extra. We do apologize. Welcome to the City Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority regular meeting, March 5th, 2013. We need our closed session report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Item A on the closed session agenda, cases 1, 2, and 4 were removed. Item A, case number 3, and item B on closed session were discussed. Direction was given. No reportable action was taken. Item C on closed session is continued until the end of the regular meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lyons. Please note, City Clerk, the attendance. We have a full council today. And we will start our Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Tapia, will you please lead us? Thank you, Mr. Tapia. May I please have an approval on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first by Mr. Moreno, second by...
I have an item to pull. We'd like to pull item number 5.
Okay. Can I have a modification on that motion, please?
We'll rescind my motion to approve and now make a motion to approve with the omission of item number 5.
And I will second that, Madam Mayor.
Okay, first by Mr. Moreno with the amendment, second by Mr. Hodge. Please vote. Thank you. Motion passes 4-1. Okay, we're going to start off today's meeting with a couple of presentations. Our first presentation, do we have a representative from an IID here today? Oh, okay. I was just informed that the IID has canceled their presentation. Hopefully they'll come back on soon in the future. Okay, so our next presentation is by Mr. Tony Garcia, representing the Calexico Parents Athletic League. Hi, Tony.
Good evening, Mayor. Test, 1, 2. Can you hear me out there? Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. Good evening. See, if you don't know me, my name is Tony Garcia. I am the current president of the Calexico Parents Athletic League. I've been at it for 3 years, and pretty soon we're going to try to get a new president. Anyway, recently, I would say like 2 Saturdays ago, we had our Winter League ceremonial inauguration kit to start off our Winter League. This came about by a lot of effort, and a lot of teams were there, and we also have a lot of people that we need to thank. Okay, we're going to have a little clip showing you what exactly happened. If we can get that going. Some of the events that took place. As this gets started, I want to mention the people that we need to thank, some of the people that we need to thank for helping us out. Chief named Joe Nujar, I don't believe he's here. He's one of the people we need to thank. Councilman Mr. Bill Hodge, Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. John Moreno, Councilman. Thank you very much for all your help. Mr. John R. Renison, Supervisor, District 1. Thank him. We need to have a very special thank you to the principal of Calexico High School, Mr. Sergio Pesqueira, for allowing us loaning us temporarily the great Calexico High School marching band. They were there. Also there with the help of the band director, Mr. Carlos Navarrete, band boosters, John and Rosa Pina. We want to thank them all. They did an outstanding job. The band was awesome. We also had the Calexico Police Department color guard there, and they were impressive. They were awesome. They are under the direction of Coordinator Cindy Frager. Everything went as planned. Everything was nice. Beautiful weather, and hopefully we get this started so you can see a little bit of what transpired on that particular Saturday. On this day, we had like 12 to 14 teams show up. We have 55 teams signed up, including 8 women's team girls. We have teams, municipalities want to join our events out of Coachella, California. Arizona wants to come and join us too, and they want us to go down there and play them, and vice versa with the Coachella people. So it's going to grow. We want to grow more. Hopefully we can handle the pressure and all the organization. There's a lot of people we want to thank. Hopefully this thing will get going here. We're not having any luck. While that gets going, I'm going to do a couple of presentations. Some people that have been very instrumental in our quest to provide the youth of Calexico activities. Not only soccer, but we're going to do basketball, we're going to do flag football, we may even do softball. That's how much people we have, so much interest we have. And we're going to continue to grow. Let me see. Hopefully some of these people are here, but if not, can I have a round of applause after I name them, please? One of our major contributors and helpers and sponsor of our league is Guillermo Hermosillo. I guess Mr. Hermosillo is not here. Mr. Jose Duarte. Not here. I just saw this person earlier, and he's been very helpful to us. Lieutenant Gerardo. Come here, sir. And unfortunately, for circumstances beyond his control, this person cannot be here, but he's been with us for a long time. He's been very instrumental, very helpful. He never left our site, and is someone that I, for one, hate to see go. Chief Nim Nujar. We're still having technical difficulty. This last one here, if there's someone, actually it's an organization that we hope will continue with their support for our programs, and that's for the Calexico Police Officers Association. I don't know if we're down with our technical problems or not. But once again, we're going to continue with our program. We're going to go beyond what we've done before and address the needs of the youth of Calexico as much as possible. No luck over there? Evidently, somebody's equipment is more modern than ours, or vice versa.
Madam Mayor, I think that maybe we go on until we get that ready, and then when they're ready, we can show it.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
What's the difficulty? Not fixable?
I understand there's another computer being brought in to facilitate the usage there. Let me introduce to you, please, our current president of the soccer league for Calexico Parents Athletic League, brand new former professional player in Mexico, Mr. Marco Jaramillo.
Hola, buenas noches a todos. Gracias por la invitación. Quiero agradecer la invitación directamente a la señora Estrada, que fue la que me invitó a ser parte de esta organización de aquí de CIPAL. Prácticamente ayudarlos en la plena organización de este torneo, de esta liga, y pues llevar a cabo las múltiples funciones que vamos a tener durante este año y este torneo. Hay muchas cosas por hacer, hay muchas cosas que tenemos que trabajar. Hay mucha gente involucrada dentro de esta liga, hay alrededor de 50 equipos inscritos, de los cuales hay que coordinar, tanto a jugadores como cuerpo técnico, entrenadores, y todo esto va a ser, el apoyo de esto que vayamos a tener va a ser en base a la gente que está arriba de todo esto, ¿no? La gente de la política, lo político y lo deportivo va de la mano, ¿sí? Siempre vamos a tener muy buena ayuda por parte de lo político, lo deportivo y añadiéndole a los padres de familia. Sin los padres de familia esto no se llevaría a cabo. Yo quiero mencionarles que durante el tiempo que yo esté aquí en compañía de la señora Estrada, el señor Tony García y la demás gente que tengo a mi cargo, que es el señor Felipe, Héctor, Jorge, Raúl, hay mucha gente involucrada. Ya conocí a varias gente en la inauguración del sábado pasado. He visto que hay demasiado apoyo por parte de ustedes y eso es bueno, habla muy bien de que ustedes quieren ver crecer a esta gran familia deportiva, y no nada más en el fútbol, sino también en el béisbol, en el básquetbol, en todos los deportes que ustedes tengan dentro de la ciudad. El apoyo de ustedes, incondicional, el apoyo prácticamente económico, va de la mano. Me gustaría ver crecer esta liga, la invitación la tengo, aquí estoy, y vamos a hacer todo lo posible por hacer crecer a esta liga de CIPAL, y yo sé que tienen algún evento próximamente. Viene la representación de Calexico en un torneo a nivel nacional que es en Pensilvania. Creo que coach, ¿dónde está el coach? Pedro va a representarnos junto con sus equipos del equipo Lion, creo. Felipe Mesa, acá está atrás también, que es uno de los coaches que están preparándose para ir a este gran torneo. Tenemos un video donde hicimos la inauguración, editamos la inauguración del sábado pasado, donde están representando ahí a todos ustedes como parte del council, del board, mucha gente que está apoyando ahí, están los padres de familia, los niños prácticamente jugando. Vienen algunos saludos por parte de la selección mexicana, de la selección mexicana para la liga de aquí de Calexico. Entonces hay muchas cosas buenas, muchas cosas positivas que vamos a realizar durante los próximos días, meses y, ¿por qué no?, en algunos años. Y esperando contar con su apoyo y el apoyo de padres de familia de todos ustedes. Muchas gracias por la invitación y pues vamos a estar aquí al pendiente.
Bueno, simplemente quisiera hacer un comentario. Muchas gracias por su presentación. Vamos a ver si es de que si aquí el equipo coopera. Pero el día sábado que ustedes tuvieron su inauguración, este concilio tuvo una junta a las 9 de la mañana y uno de nosotros no asistimos con ustedes porque empezó a las 9 de la mañana. We weren't able to be there with you guys, some of us, because we did have a meeting on Saturday. We did have a retreat-style special meeting, so it started at 9 o'clock in the morning, so many of us could not be there to support you, but of course, when we can, we will. So I believe that what we're going to do then is move on, and if we are able to have that operating, then we will. So moving on, we are going to go now to our public comments section of the agenda. Oh, yes.
We have announcements, public comments, don't we? Oh, there it is.
Okay. Tony, are you going to give this presentation? Okay. No one can pick up your voice when you speak from there, though.
Woody Woodpecker. Chili Willy.
Hopefully there'll be sound and I won't have to sing or anything like that. It's Tuesday and it's a bad day for me. I hear some sound. Can you see Mr. Kim?
To the flag of the United States of America and United Republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tenemos, caballeros, buenas noches, buenos días. Estamos aquí inaugurando otro torneo. Recuerden que esto es algo que los padres tienen el mayor enfoque para los niños, para la bien del Calexico. No puedo decir mucho que no saben, pero el programa empezó con 4 equipos y creo ya estamos pasando los 50 y vamos a seguir creciendo. Tenemos mucho interés desde Westmoreland.
I'm addressing the parents and letting them know that it's because of their support and their help, the parents, they're what make this league what it is.
To the program, this is what makes us successful. Los padres, gracias a ustedes, han hecho esto posible. Por ustedes su apoyo, el amor por sus hijos, porque juegan deporte. Vamos a presentar a ciertos funcionarios que nos han apoyado a toda hora. We're going to introduce, first of all, Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Bill Hart.
Buenos días. Este es muy importante programa. And gracias los padres para todo. Y también que es necesario es en que Ciudad aquí ayuda mucho para este programa. And I promise, if I'm still in, I will continue to work and promote the parks.
Next up, City Councilman, Mr. John Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge.
Gracias, Tony. Bienvenidos a todos. Este es un placer estar con ustedes ahora. Yo también le quiero agradecer a una persona que ha coordinado este programa de los padres y los hijos en deportes. Y esa señora es Carmen Estrada.
Section 1 Superior, Mr. John R. Redison, Supervisor, District 1.
Todo el equipo que hace posible este tipo de torneos y este tipo de participación ciudadana de todo Calexico. Yo los felicito y de parte del Condado Imperial, cualquier cosa que les ofrezca, comunícate conmigo y estoy a sus órdenes. Felicidades.
Ustedes son los honorables hoy, porque no sabes el trabajo, la lucha que pasa diario para que se diviertan ustedes. Todo eso hecho por ustedes mismos, por lo bueno de los niños. Muchas gracias.
Esta persona que quiero reconocer en frente de todos nos ha apoyado en muchas formas, nos presta las trailers para ir a los desfiles, nos apoya aquí. Un aplauso para Raúl González.
Pues buenos días y para mí es un gran privilegio estar aquí y pues en realidad no merezco esto, pero de todas maneras muchas gracias y pues adelante.
And now, led by coordinator Cindy Fraker, we have our color guard from the Calexico Police Department. Led by our Calexico High School Marching Bulldog Band. Coordinator, Mr. Carlos Navarrete, Band Director, assisted by Mrs. Gomez, John, and Rosa Piña.
During this event, I challenged the Calexico Marching Band and their drum line to three-peat at the Midwinter Fair High School Madness. And sure enough, they did it again.
Mr. Director Principal, Mr. Sergio Pesqueira.
Muchas gracias, muy buenos días a todos ustedes y quiero empezar a darle las gracias a la señora Estrada por darnos el honor y la invitación de traer a nuestra banda y reducirla y que es un gran grupo de jóvenes que tienen un buen futuro y muchas ganas. Les deseo a todos ustedes, alumnos, a jugadores, entrenadores, que tengan una liga saludable y divertida y que sigan adelante. Muchísimas gracias a todos ustedes y que tengan buen día.
Another person we wish to thank for their help is Veronica Toscado from the Health Department, Perry County.
Muy buenos días a todos. Este es un evento muy importante porque esto es lo que necesitamos en nuestra ciudad, que todos los estudiantes estén envueltos en deportes, en cosas positivas para que puedan seguir adelante teniendo una vida muy saludable y siendo productivos para nuestra comunidad y sus familias. Muchas gracias y felicidades a todos.
Una persona más que quiero reconocer that I wish to recognize in front of everybody. Band Director, Mr. Carlos Navarrete.
Además quiero dar las gracias por tenernos aquí en Carmen, a los Pesquera y estamos aquí apoyando no nomás el fútbol, pero lo que viene haciendo los muchachos, la comunidad. Gracias por tenernos. Carmen Estrada, directora de CITEL.
Buenos días, gracias a todos los niños, a los papás, a la comunidad entera por estar aquí con nosotros, porque acuérdense que este programa es de ustedes, los papás, porque nadie más, nomás ustedes son los que hacemos. Y ahorita dar unas palabras para una persona que estuvo y está con nosotros el 100% en este programa, ha estado en este programa, ha estado con la comunidad entera, no nomás con nosotros. Y yo en especial quiero decirle al Chief New York que la verdad no tengo palabras para decirle lo que sentimos, porque lo siento yo y lo sienten los papás, porque yo se los he comunicado a ellos lo grande que es él para los niños. Gracias, Chief. Quiero darle un aplauso a este señor.
Para que me explico más bien, voy a hablar en inglés. It's so important for the city to have a successful, active recreation program. It's not just for the fact of you being able to have a place to come and be safe and have fun, but that you grow up having this activity in mind, that you have the mentorship of your coaches, that you learn good sporting habits, and you become valuable citizens to the community. There's so much to be said for what's going on now. Right now, you're just coming out, you have the game, you hope you win, and things are good. But this all goes on, who you're going to be later on in life. And for the police department, for the city, for everyone, this is so important for us to see you having this fun, this chance in life, and having this event. I want to thank you. The police department is always behind you, and I hope that in the future that we can do something better about these facilities for you. Okay, thank you.
Bien, vamos a invitar, por favor, ahí vamos a pedirle a Pedro, al coach Pedro que está ahí enfrente, que si por favor nos presta a su portero, por favor, vamos a dar la patada inicial. Señor Jimmy, come please. The kickstart, please, the honor. Listos, se prepara un tiro y la tapa. Fuerte el aplauso, con esto damos inicio a nuestra liga.
That goaltender has not been scored on all season long. He wasn't going to stop there.
Thank you, Chief, for everything. Ok, vamos a pasarle el micrófono aquí a Marco para que él introduzca los equipos.
Muchas gracias a todos los presentes por estar aquí en esta Liga Calexico Pod. Es muy importante el apoyo de los padres de familia hacia los niños. Vamos a darle un fuerte aplauso a los padres de familia, a los miembros del presidio que están aquí presentes y a todos los entrenadores. Vamos a nombrarlos a los equipos. Como equipo número 1, como equipo número 2, Barcelona, categoría 97-98, 99-2000. Equipo número 3, Calexico Soccer Club, categoría 2001-2002. Juego número 4. Un fuerte aplauso para recibir a Calexico United. Coach Carlos, categoría 2003-2004. Número 6. Número 7. Eagles. Adelante, equipo de Eagles. Categoría 97-98. River Eagles. Número 10. Adelante.
Ladies and gentlemen, for this entertainment, the famous Calexico High School Drumline.
This is about an example of what goes on at our inauguration ceremonies. I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity, giving us the opportunity to share this with everyone. It's going to continue long, and then when people are going to start singing, and we'd rather not show that part. But we want to thank everybody for your attention, Councilman, Ms. Mayor, everybody. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you very much, Mrs. Estrada, and thank you very much to the Calexico PAL.
By the way, I couldn't go. I'm sorry I couldn't go because I didn't know about the ceremonies. But I found the grant information, about $750,000 grant for information for the support after school program. I told one of my friends to write the grant for you guys.
Thank you very, very much. Very interesting, and congratulations to all you kids. Okay, we're going to move on now to our next item on our agenda, which is our public comments section of the agenda. Thank you. Announcements, public appearances, and public comments. Not to exceed 3 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. If the item you wish to comment on is a closed session or consent item, please comment now. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to the item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council. And I only have one request to speak by Mr. Daniel Romero. If you'd like to come up to the podium. Technical difficulties?
A little familiarity. Before I start, Mayor Hurtado and Council, I don't know if anybody from the audience would like to take this opportunity, since the presentation was completed, to get up and leave.
Señora Estrada, Mrs. Estrada, I don't know if your kids and the parents would like to stay for the rest of the meeting. And if not, we could take a small break and allow you guys to go ahead and leave if you like. This is the boring part of the meeting. So if you guys would like to stay, you're welcome to stay. And if not, you may go ahead and if you like to stay, go ahead and stay, but we'll just give it about a good 1 minute, 2 minutes.
Hey, ¿cómo estás? I don't know.
Nope, too late. I'm kidding you.
I think you should go to the city clerk.
Yeah.
She needs to, yeah. We haven't. Yeah, but he's been practicing. That's why I went to go pick him up. And then his mom came for him. Yeah.
My back is walking
watching
around.
videos. Presentation.
Okay, we're going to reconvene, and we're going to go back to our public speaker, Mr. Daniel Romero.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Hurtado and the rest of the council members. I'm glad you did give them the time to leave, because those little guys get me more nervous than talking to the group that's here right now. Anyway, here goes. And again, I'll read from my prepared comments here. I was present during the February 19th council meeting when a council member said something to the tune of, "I will not rest until City Hall and the library are open 5 days a week, that the public deserves this." I was not present when the council voted 4-1 on waiving the fees for the neighborhood house project. Members of the council and those in the know, this is what is referred to as double talk. Say one thing, but act just the opposite. It is pleasing to hear when council wants this and wants that for the public. The message goes bye-bye when your next action is to waive or reduce fees earned through staff's work. Someone might think, what's the big deal waiving $5,000 or $10,000? Add the waivers and reductions during the course of a year, and that adds up. Maybe $50,000, maybe even more. What has also been the tune for the previous 4 years is why do we not have greener parks or retention basins, which was mentioned again during the presentation of a moment ago. Ladies and gentlemen, the decision made at the prior meeting is a huge contributor to why they are not in better shape. You say it will be on a case-by-case basis. I say, how can you differentiate between the neighborhood house and the Charlie program or Catholic Charities or others? You actually open a Pandora's box. I say, hey, nonprofit organizations, approach this council and request similar waivers if you had or have a project, especially when it benefits the community as a whole. Council, guess what happens next if you do not grant them the same favor? Because this is what was done, a favor with taxpayer money. The fees of the general fund, and the fees are for the general fund and for discretion by city manager and directors on how to best utilize these new revenues. That is, when they are not waived. Then they can be used for funding opening up on Fridays at City Hall, in library, at the police department for non-sworn officers who are not privy to the Stone Garden grant, supplies, replacement of tools and equipment, and even spending to have greener parks and retention basins, or even hiring one more police officer. CPO leadership may come to you and declare we are willing to share with the impact. Sure they are, just as long as the Stone Garden grant continues to pay their overtime. But if it was paid through the general fund, they also would be here with speeches of misuse of public money and lack of strong leadership. Why repeat the two? You're already familiar with it. What a concept. This council can actually help make Calexico a better place to live simply by having established fees paid by those that require the services performed by city staff. I applaud you, Mayor Hurtado, for taking the more difficult stand amongst your colleagues. And yet, it was the easier one, because it does send a message that you do want a better and a more transparent Calexico. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Romero. Next speaker is Vicente Cuevas, please. The subject is opening of Cesar Chavez Boulevard to Cole Road.
I don't know where to begin. My name is Vincent Cuevas. I live here in Calexico, and for years in the casitas, 1,000 residents live there under the consequences of not having safety traffic control because the city council doesn't put attention to this area. I've already come 2 times to the city council, and I've had meetings with city officials, including Mr. Servine, the Public Works Director. Years ago, a man named Mr. Mendez used to live there begging the city council 4 or 5 times concerning the problem of the parking. He wanted the city to do something about the noise on weekends and prevented the residents from resting on weekends. He already passed away, but I'm on the police commission, and I want to concentrate on safety for the community. They're going to widen Highway 98, and there will be more problems. There was a plan a long time ago for Cesar Chavez Boulevard to go to Cole Road, but the city hasn't been doing that on this matter. I'd like to also give you a copy of page 4 of Probe, where they are taking care of problems of traffic congestion in Brawley. I want the city to do something like they did in Probe. In 1997, there was a big fire in the swap meet, and it was so big they closed the railroad tracks. And won't you think about something to do in the future to solve these problems? I've talked to residents, and some of the residents have moved away Some of the people that I depended on to come to this meeting have moved out of the area to prevent, because they could not handle the problems that they had at Las Casitas. I'll give a copy of this to each city council member, and that's about it.
Thank you, Mr. Cuevas. Thank you very much for your input. Okay, we're going to be moving on now to our next section, which is general comments by the council members and by the city manager. If we can start with you, Mr. Rodriguez. Sorry, got you off guard.
Yeah, you did catch me off guard.
Do they get 3 minutes too?
For Mr. Rodriguez?
For all of us?
I can do it in 3 minutes. How
Can we
about
do it
you?
in 3 minutes? Thank you.
You're my timekeeper.
I'll be there.
Okay. Just a couple of items. The fire department, we are currently finalizing 2 Homeland Security grants for fiscal year 2010. The grants were funded last month, and equipment has been ordered to satisfy this particular mission. The fire department roughly received $38,000 to purchase personal protective equipment for the firefighters and upgrade interoperable communication equipment. Under the finance department, you will hear that tonight. We have the final report for the audit, and that is ready, and we'll have a presentation tonight on that, and we're working on the single audit that is due by March 31st, and I will gladly tell you that we won't have a problem meeting that deadline this year. A couple of items that are going on. The Melrose building you've heard a lot about, and we're working with the owners to try and provide them find some state monies in order to provide them a loan so that we can fix the Melrose building, which is one of the last buildings that was damaged during the 2010 earthquake. Grand Plaza, if you haven't been out there, please go out there. You will see a lot of movement of dirt, a lot of ditches, trenches being done, a lot of water and sewer lines being laid. So that is our project on the outlets. I almost missed that one. The outlet project is underway. It is moving. Go out there by the airport and you can find out for yourself what is going on. We are now having weekly meetings with all the developers, the subcontractors, in order to keep that project moving. The idea is to hit a target date in October to open up that particular facility. On Imperial and 8th, we have a commercial shell building that we just issued building permits for, and that has been vacant for a long time, so we're hoping to move that along. Also today, with the retirement of our former police chief, Jim Newjar, I have made an appointment of Lieutenant Gonzalo Gerardo as interim chief of police until a new chief of police is hired, and recruitment process will start tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Council members, I just got a request for a public comment from Mr. Eduardo Guzman. And because we're beyond that point in our agenda, do you mind if we allow him the time to speak? I do not mind. Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Guzman.
Thank you, Mayor Hurtado and Councilman. Appreciate it very much. As previous councilman here from the city of Calexico, I just want to make a comment because I saw Mayor Hurtado comments on Facebook about input from the public as far as the hiring of locals. I really commend you for that because I believe in hiring local people, you know. I was here and I left to the state of Utah, and you know, I got so much experience that I could see what's going on in other cities, and I brought the best back to the city where I'm from. You know, I like my Calexico. And I like to see, you know, I hate to see, I'm going around the houses right now with this project that I have, and I can see a lot of people, it makes me sad saying that, you know, it's like we're in Mexico. We got to go up north for a better life. There's no life for my kids here. You know, we should just keep everything in-house, everything we can within the county. I'm not saying just within Calexico because we may not have it, but I mean, within the county, we should have, or even pay somebody to get their right credentials or whatever they need for a new chief. So I wanted to put my 2 cents in there, and I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Guzman. Okay, moving on to general comments by our council members, starting with Mr. Moreno. We're going to try to restrict our comments then to 3 minutes. Is that what we're saying?
Sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
I got to keep the timer on with the sound on. Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank our city staff, city manager, for the retreat that we had a couple weeks ago. I felt that all of us learned about each other, things that we didn't know, and hopefully that we continue to move forward, working as a unit. I felt it was a great opportunity for us to discuss some of the things that we'd like to see in our community, and I look forward to a follow-up with a retreat. And I'd like to thank the balance of the council for taking the time and giving their pertinent input. I also look forward to the car show that's going to be happening on Saturday with the Business Improvement District, Mr. Lalo Lopez, Morris Risen. You're doing an outstanding job for the downtown. It is always well attended, and every year it gets bigger and bigger. So thank you for that. Also, I attended the State of the County address by County Supervisor who was part of our district here, that's Ray Castillo, who gave a speech at a new club, which is on the corner of Heber and 111. There's a truck stop there. Other than having the cheapest gas in the county, it also has a nice venue for a restaurant and entertainment. So that was good. I also look forward to the start of Little League. In addition to the soccer with the CPEL, we do have a Little League. Mr. Sal Munoz is always involved in that. Hopefully that will start within the next week or two. I have a hand in it. And also I talked to Mr. Servin about what is happening on the corner of 5th and Heber, a big water main. There was a leak, and it should be fixed within the next 24 hours, hopefully. And thank you for the work that you're doing for our community. I still got about a minute left, but I will stop there and let someone else go.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno.
Take your minute, John.
Very considerate of you. Mr. Hodge.
Okay, I also concur with Councilman Moreno on the retreat. Ladies and gentlemen, it really was worth your taxpayers' money. It really is. It was. And so we got a lot out of it. Also, I attended the State of County address, and that was very informative, and it was a very, very nice venue. Sitting on so many subcommittees, I don't have time to report to all of them, but I think the one right now that's important is the ICTC, Imperial County Transit Commission. I'm pleased to say, because the students had come forward at the unmet needs and here at the council about overcrowding with the bus line coming from here to IBC and back, that immediately ICTC put in an immediate solution, and that was to add an additional express bus, and it has made a great difference. And there is strong recommendation that in 2013 to add 2 more additional trips. Now, of course, everything is contingent upon funding, but it looks good. So that was very good on ICT's part. Also, it's extremely important that you be aware, and I could make copies of them, leave them here, that we're going to have concerning our orange new bus line, the circulator within our city. The consultants will be coming, and they're going to have 2 types of meetings. One first is an outreach and stakeholders meeting, and that will be between March 18th and 19th for stakeholders like public officials and city manager and other areas. And then later in April, there will be April 15th to 22nd, there will be a bilingual public workshop. This will not be the last you hear about it, folks. I'm sure they're going to advertise it very well. But it is extremely important that we have all our ducks in a row. So, City Manager, Mr. Servin, I strongly recommend, if you haven't already, because you guys are usually on top of it, we have a tentative plan as to what routes that we would want to see the Orange Line operating. You know, we just don't want them to dictate to us. We need to know what our needs are. Question on the subcommittee, Parks and Recreation. I know you guys have been doing a lot of fine work. Has there been discussed, and I'm sure you saw the conditions of the bathroom, it's been talked about over and over again, Crummett Park here. Have you discussed anything, or what steps? I'm sorry, our park right here. Anything about the bathroom conditions here? Any plan on that?
Mr. Rodriguez.
Well, the plan is, as we reported the last time, there's been a sheet that's been put together, an inventory of the different parks and what needs to be done in the different parks. We're now evaluating whether it's a capital improvement and whether it's a maintenance issue and whether or not it's a short-term problem or a long-term problem. Once we identified all those and analyze those, and I would hope that's, fairly soon, then obviously the next portion is to bring in all the support groups, the shareholders, to make sure that we're not missing anything. And then once we get through with that phase of it, then we would look for the financing phase of it, which at this time we're looking to go to Measure H for the funding on that.
Okay. Also, very, very pleased in the outstanding organization on behalf of Sandra Thaler and Parks and Recreation. I'm very proud of this summit, the sports summit, and it was well attended. Thank you for being there, and it was a very good event, so very important for our children and parents. One other issue, I would like to implore that we move as fast as possible, maybe 5 weeks, setting a date for our city's goals and vision, so that then we can expedite after that, hiring a grant writer, grant coordinator, and I believe that that's all, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Mr. Kim.
Good evening. I think we have some council members was talking. I'm still going to say same subject. Park and street is not in good conditions. I think the years been complaining, and councils years the talking, and nothing been done. We're not here to say good things about the community. We are here to do the job for the community. What we done? What we gonna do? We just keep talking and talking and talking. When we gonna finish the street? When we gonna make the park in these conditions? We should have to find a way to do it. And the street, we have money, and we're not doing it. And I believe we have to focus on our community first, then big projects on outside. And I think the panel member's gone. I've been announced a little bit a while ago. I found over 750,000 grant for the after-school programs. I requested one of my friends to write the grant to they can support them, or after students or children in the Calexico. Well, my fellow members were talking about the retreat. I believe they had some kind of good positive things get from the retreat, but I'm going to say some little negatives on that retreat. First of all, any meeting should be held the place not to be paid to enter. We hold the place and the family will pay perception to everybody is we need to pay to get in. And we arranged it arranged it with the restaurant, said so don't charge them to when they're coming in. But there's no announcement on our website. No, there's a place there, and nothing announced there. So we systematically blocking the community involvement to our meeting. And also, this is going to be my statement. No one has right overriding my right as representing the community. That retreat, we have a positive, we have a discussion, but no one not going to over my right to represent my community. I have a first commitment, I have a right to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Mr. Castro.
Yes, related to parks and basin, what's the name of the, instead to park basin,
Retention basin?
Retention basins. I spoke with Sandra Thaler. Is Sandra Thaler is here. No, she's not. Well, she's not here, but City Manager, remember we spoke with Sandra Tyler related to all the parks and retention basins. What's the update on that? We spoke about that last public council meeting. Can you give us an update on that, please?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the information, we have the information in reference to the inventory of the different parks. As you will remember, when we took the trip, we identified what needed to be reviewed and taken care of. And so now the information is going to be divided into a maintenance issue or a capital improvement issue, and then divided out into short-term and long-term plans. We have recently put a target amount on there, what we think it's going to cost us. And so now, once we do that, then again, we go back to the shareholders, which are some of the groups that are out there that are identified with wanting to assist in the different parks, and make sure that they buy in to what we're doing, or maybe they have some other input. Once we have that, then the third phase is to look for the financing, which we've targeted Measure H, and so then we would take it to Measure H for financing. So that's kind of the steps that we're going through.
Okay, sounds great, but when is going to be the date that the director, Sandra Tyler, she's going to ask for those funds to Measure H? Is there a
Our target, we were hoping March, but our target now has moved to April. So the meeting of April, Measure H meeting, that's what we're targeting to go for the funds.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Castro. What we were commenting on right now, Mr. Rodriguez, is that maybe what we could do is set up an appointment, Mr. Castro and myself, and I promise not to get sick. That would be the fourth time if I did. And maybe next week we could have a follow-up as far as what your results were and move from there.
Sure.
Thank you. As far as my report, I did have a very busy couple of weeks, and a few things to mention. Just Wednesday, this past Wednesday, I attended the Mount Signal Solar groundbreaking. It's a huge project down Highway 98, right on Farrell Road, and it's going to have approximately, I believe, 2 million solar panels, and that was a really exciting thing to see. It was a beautiful day out there watching everything, what was going on in the view of our beautiful Mount Signal. I got to meet the developers that are handling that project, and I did invite them to the City Council to talk about the project and let us know what's going on out there. The state of the county, I was unable to attend that day last Thursday, and I'm sorry I did not. However, I wanted to let you all know that I will be dancing in the next event for Dancing with the Stars, and that is an event held by the Imperial Valley Regional Occupational Program, IVROP, to benefit students, college students, and provide them with different grants and monies for school. So I hope you can come out and support me. That'll be on April the 26th. I'm working really hard to get ready for that, and the competition's pretty good, but Calexico needs to be represented, so I think I might be a little crazy to have accepted that challenge, but I think I'm going to have a lot of fun. Thank you. I'm sorry? Yes, they do. They do sell alcoholic beverages that night. I also want to say that looking at the chief in that one video, that was really sad to see that. Personally, I think he's a great guy, and I know that Calexico has embraced him as a true professional and part of this community. And I want to wish him the best of luck in his endeavors in the future, and to know that he always has friends here in the city of Calexico. Just yesterday, I assisted in a meeting, a binational group put together by the ICTC. And this group, what it's doing is working together with the Mexicali officials in the different details that will be necessary to iron out if we can at one point have either a new port or find some solutions to what's going on in our existing port. There was discussions about our existing port, the downtown port as it's known, where our port would then have some remodeling and basically kind of take out what's inside of the main building and add to what's there as 6 inspection lanes, I'm talking pedestrian, put it all the way out to 9 lanes. So that was a really interesting conversation. The other thing that was mentioned was sequestration and how it would affect our border. And I see some rolling of the eyes back there about that one word. And the comments from Mr. John Ballard and the different representatives that were there from our local government here at our border was that sequestration may not be at this point causing a problem, but apparently what's going to be happening, the main key issue is that there will be no more overtime for employees at our port of entry. And if sequestration continues to exist 30 days from now, we will see very long lines. He mentioned up to 4, I don't want to scare anybody, but up to 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours. So that's just really hard to even think that could happen. So hopefully our government will come to its senses and find a solution. Last Friday was Dr. Seuss Day, and a lot of us went out to the different schools and read Dr. Seuss books to the students. I was able to read to the 5th graders in Rockwood School, which is my school when I grew up, and the 6th graders at Cesar Chavez, and it was really interesting. It was really hard to read Dr. Seuss because those are tongue twisters, but it was really interesting at the end, all the different questions that especially the 6th graders were asking me, and I couldn't believe they were 6th graders because they were great questions, so I really enjoyed that day. Last week, we also, as a council, many of the members here visited with First Imperial on their first anniversary as a business here in Calexico. They have been successful in the corner there next to Walmart, and we're very happy that they continue to be here with us. So much success to First Imperial Credit Union. Last Monday, we met with a special group of representatives from the state of Arizona with Ms. Julia from our what was known as our redevelopment agency, and they were here to, as a focus group, asking questions about different economic issues and issues unique to a border community such as ours, because of course their issues and their border communities are equal to ours. So that was a really great meeting. We learned a lot, and we met new friends and new contacts for the future. Let's see. I'd like to congratulate Chuy Iñiguez with the Girls Softball League. He's working really hard right now on our girls softball fields on the corner of Meadows and Sapphire, I believe it is. He's really working hard to get that grass going, and he has a lot of different volunteers out there, so congratulations to him. He's not giving up, and that's a hard job to do that, especially because no one's being paid for that, so we thank him very, very much for that. Let's see. There's one meeting that we have coming up here, which is March the 12th, our town hall meeting. We've had 2 so far. This is going to be the 3rd or the 4th? This will be the 3rd. Town hall meetings are where the community can come to us and discuss issues and focused only on wanting to listen to the community and what those issues are that they feel are important to bring forward. That meeting will be then on March the 12th at the Mains School Cafeteria, and that should be starting at 6 o'clock p.m., and you're welcome to be there. We want you to be there, actually. And the last item that I'll mention, and I think I'm over my 3 minutes, but...
Way over.
Sorry. The last item that I'd like to mention, I'm the mayor, so it's a little different. The last item I'd like to mention is that Calexico will be having its next anniversary celebration, and that will be on the 16th of April. And that same day, we would also like to give recognition to certain individuals of the community, we'll call them pioneers, who have reached the age of at least 100, maybe 90s to qualify. So if any of you have any recommendations of any names out there that you would like to have recognized, that those individuals are able to come and be part of a recognition ceremony, we would like that information. So I believe that is it. The only comment I'll make with regard to team building is that it was free to the public. There was a misunderstanding. We do apologize to anyone from the public that had a misunderstanding. The meeting itself was free to the public. It was held in a restaurant, and the restaurant did not provide free meals. However, the issue was resolved, and we had some public participation at least. So we hope that when we do these types of meetings in the future, that we can ensure to clarify how the meetings are going to be held so that there doesn't exist any of these types of misunderstandings. So thank you very much. Okay, on to our consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, I motion that we approve all items on the consent calendar.
Second.
And do we need to recognize once more item number 5 being pulled?
Item 5 is pulled, yes.
Okay.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Did you want to make a comment, Mr. Kim? Or did you want to pull something? I'm sorry.
I want to pull the number 6.
You want to pull number 6?
Yes.
Is that all?
And I think what city manager was mentioning about number 5. We're going to
Yes, we recognize that number 5 is going to be, number 5 is pulled for, tabled? for-
Removed.
Removed, okay. So
Pulled
item
out, and
five is
number
removed.
6 is for the separate discussion.
You would like separate, okay, so that's one being pulled, number 6. Anything else? Mr. Castro? Okay, so we have.
Madam
a-
Mayor, I'll rescind my motion and motion to approve items 1 through 4 from the consent agenda.
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Go ahead and vote. Okay, thank you very much. Motion passes 5-0. Mr. Kim, item number 6, approval of resolution authorizing the submittal of an application to the California State Department of Housing and Community Development for funding under the Cal Home program, the execution of a standard agreement, and any related documents necessary to participate in the Cal Home program. You have pulled this item, Mr. Kim. You want to make some comments?
Yes, I believe there's good things. We're going to try to find more money to serve our community. But I believe that we have some similar program we had a couple years before that.
I'm sorry, you're asking us?
Yes, I'm asking the city manager.
The question was, I'm sorry.
We have this program a couple years ago, about 2000, I believe, 7, 8, 9.
Well, we currently do have these programs. We have a rehabilitation program, and we do have also a first-time homebuyer program right now. Obviously, it's gone real well, and we've had a lot of participants, but there is a lot of need in this community for both of those programs. So we have an opportunity here to apply for additional funding, of which our application will consist of $500,000 for housing rehabilitation and $500,000 for first-time homebuyer money.
But what I believe, a lot of the people, politicians, or who's involved in politics, they having a lot of loan from the city, and they did not pay it. From the, I believe, owner-occupied housing rehabilitations. And I think it's about a year ago, I've been also complaining about that. And some of the elected person, they owe the city and they're not paying, and then they lost the house. They just, even that person has a 2 times the loan from the city, supposed not be second loan. And right after they get the second loan, they stop paying the payment to the bank, and they lost to the bank. So good system, we try to help the peace system, but we have to have how we going to manage it to fairly giving the benefit to the community. And also we have to look into our practice to using the public fund to the community.
And just as a comment, I'm aware of that particular case. I will tell you that that was under a prior administration, so we're going to make sure that that does not happen again.
Thank you.
Okay, would you like to motion for its approval, Mr. Kim?
Make the motion to approve gladly.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. First by Mr. Kim, second by Mr. Moreno. Please vote. Thank you. Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to our business items, part of this agenda. Item number 7, approval of resolution of the City Council of the City of Calexico establishing a policy which delegates tort liability claims handling responsibilities to the California Joint Powers Insurance Authority as authorized by California Government Code Section 910, et sec. Do we have any comments from the city manager?
This particular item is an item that allows us to delegate some of the responsibilities to the JPA, which we are a member of, and a lot of the California cities are members of, whereby the claims that come into, the tort claims that come into the city will now be handled by them. It'll make the process a lot smoother, and it will allow us to move forward on if there's a claim rejection that needs to be made, it will allow it to move a lot faster, which then moves the period for a potential lawsuit a lot faster, so that we don't delay rejecting it and therefore have to wait longer for the potential lawsuit. So it really is a good opportunity for us to have a Joint Powers Authority assist us in this particular manner. If you will recall now, what happens is when there's a claim that's filed, we send it to them, they review it, they send it back. They send us back a document that says you need to reject this. We have to bring it to the council. Then we reject it, and then we send it back to them. And then the process starts with the potential lawsuit in the time frame that they have. Now, if you approve this, they will handle the whole thing, so it'll make the process a lot smoother. That doesn't mean that they won't be able to bring their claim here, but we would then forward it, and then the process would start, and they would handle all of it.
Okay. Any questions, or what are the wishes of the council?
I move that we approve it.
Do I have a second? Okay, Mr. Castro has stepped out, but we will go ahead and continue with the vote. Okay, ready? Please vote. Okay, motion passes 4-0, and Mr. Castro has absent. Okay, moving on to the next item. Our next item is acknowledge receipt and accept the comprehensive annual fiscal reports for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2012. And for that, I believe we do have a presentation.
We do, and as an introductory into the presentation, this item is our annual audit that is required that we file every year. This year, there were some issues that we wanted to address, and we will be providing that in the presentation. We are happy to report that our audit was an unqualified opinion, which is the best opinion you can get. That doesn't mean that there weren't issues that we still need to address, and we will be addressing that in the coming year. There was some issues in reference to trying to get the audit done in a particular time frame due to the fact that we needed to do a lot of cleanup work when we provided the financial statements. It required a little longer time to clean up our financial statements so that the audit team could come in and audit. The requirements are that the organization needs to have their financial statements substantially in compliance so that the audit team can come in and audit the financials. Unfortunately, we were not ready to do that, so we've cleaned that up so that this coming year we will be ready when the audit team comes. And so hopefully, with a little bit of luck, you will be seeing this audit before you in January rather than March. Having said that, we will present a small rendition and summary of what you have in this massive document, but we are happy that, again, there was an unqualified opinion. And to present the presentation, we have Mr. Ken Pun, who is a partner in Pun & McGeady, and so he'll be guiding you through the presentation. Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Pun.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Ken Pun from Pun & McGeady. I'm the engagement partner and also the founder of the CPA firm located in San Diego and Irvine. We were engaged by the city to perform the audit of the financial statement and the compliance for the city of Calexico for year-end June 30, 2012. As required by SAS 114, communication with those charged with governance, I'm required to communicate with you on a couple of things. And also, I'm very pleased to be here tonight to present the audit result to you. During this audit, we actually have a team of about 7 individuals working on the audit. As you can tell, there is about 5 CPAs on board. So all we have, all of the people on this job has significant amount of experience, especially in the governmental entities, to perform this audit. Very important. Management responsibility. When we perform the audit, this is really important for you to know. City management it's responsible for the financial statement as a whole. So by presenting the financial statement in accordance with generally accepted accounting principle, adopt sound accounting policies, establish and maintain internal control over financial reporting and compliance, provide evidence supporting to the financial statements and disclosure, and last but not least is to have programs to prevent and detect fraud. Our responsibility is to issue our opinion on the financial statement by assessing the audit risk of internal control over financial reporting and compliance. Also, we take a look at the compliance with generally accepted accounting principle in the United States of America. We also determine the fairness and accuracy of the financial statement presentation and making sure that it is in compliance with the current accounting standard. We issue our audit opinion on the financial statement, and if we have any recommendation to management, we also here to disclose that all the information to you so that you can clean up this deficiency that we noted in the audit. In order to do so, we actually break up our approach into 4 different phases in order to accomplish our objectives. One is phase 1 is the detailed planning. Basically, we sat down with our audit team, take a look at the external factor, especially during the current year with the dissolution of the redevelopment agency. Internally, you have some changes in management, so that we need to take into consideration and put that into our audit plan and come up with the strategy. Phase 2 is our interim phase of the audit, which during this phase of the audit, we look at the accounting, internal control, and evaluate the risk on each accounting system. So during this phase of the audit, based on our initial planning, preliminary review of the internal control, we cannot completely rely on the internal control. That's why we need to spend a little bit more time on the phase 3, which is the validation of the account balance. We did a lot of substantive testing to making sure that those account balances are valid and in accordance with generally accepted accounting principle. Last but not least, we are here to prepare the financial statement. In this document, we have about like 125 pages of the document, and we assist the city to prepare this financial statement. We're making sure that the review process being done and issue our opinions on these financial statements. After we are all done with these 4 phases of the audit, we accomplish our objectives, have a full system evaluation, including IT system and control. We also look at some compliance verification, validate all the account balances, have a chance to look at your reconciliation and account analysis, perform our analytical review, and also making sure that all the new accounting standards are implemented in the financial statements. The audit result, we are here to issue an unqualified opinion, which means the financial statements are fairly presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principle. The significant accounting policy have been consistently applied. All the estimates are reasonable, and the disclosure are properly reflected in the financial statement. Some of the other results that I also want to disclose to you, we do not have any disagreement with management in regards to our audit approach and all the findings that we have pointed out in the internal control. We do have material weaknesses in internal control identified, and I'll talk about that later in my presentation. Also, there are some accounting issues related to the dissolution of the redevelopment agency, and that's caused is part of the delay of the financial statement. Is we are here to help the cities to clean up the accounting record to make sure that these the dissolution are recorded properly in the financial statement. And also, last but not least, is there's no material irregularities or fraud noted in the audit. Just want to give you a brief summary of the financial statement. The government-wide financial statement is it's in accordance with GASB statement number 34, basic financial statement model. Actually, everything is recorded in a full accrual basis of accounting. So as of June 30, 2012, you have about like close to $154 million of total asset. Compared to last year, you only have you had $165 million. Total liability drop it from $74 million to $43 million. Majority of the decrease is due to the dissolution of the redevelopment agency. All the long-term debt, all the tax allocation bonds relating to the redevelopment agency are transferred to the successor agency of the redevelopment agency. So the net asset, as you can tell, the invested in capital asset net of related debt, it's about like $54 million. Total restricted dollar, it's about $44 million. Remaining unrestricted asset as of like June 30, you have about close to $12 million. So you can take a look at the statement of activities. This is the profit and loss statement for the city. Total revenue earned for the year June 30, 2012, it's about $41 million. Net of total expenses, which includes charges for service, all the tax revenue that's collected, the grants and contribution to the city, it was netted close to like $4 million. There's an extraordinary item, which is the $14.4 million, which is the items transferred to the successor agency. So resulting the net change in asset, it's about $18.3 million increase to your bottom line. How about general fund? This is the main operating fund of the city. Compared to 2001, there is some differences between the two numbers, because in 2012 we consolidate everything, all the internal service fund in the general fund, and make the accounting a little bit more efficient for the finance department here. So as of June 30, 2012, in your general fund, you have about $7.1 million in total asset, total liability of about like $1.2 million. So the fund balance resulting in $5.9 million consists of a non-spendable account of about $18,000, restricted fund balance of $2 million, another assigned fund balance of another $2 million. The unassigned part is about $1.8 million. So the next slide is the profit and loss statement for the general fund. The total revenue is about like $14.6 million. Net of total expenditure was about $14.1, resulting in a net increase of $512,000 increase in your general fund bottom line too. Also, there's a transfer from other funds of about $1.4 million, bring it up from total net change in fund balance of $1.9 million increase in your general fund. One of the things that we always look at is the rainy days fund. But GFOA, the Government Finance Officer Association, actually have a best practice for cities to look at. So these fund balance should be in between 5% to 10%. As you can tell, as of June 30, 2012, your general fund has an unassigned fund balance of about like $1.8 million, total expenditure of about $14.1 million, resulting in a 12% rainy days fund remaining in your fund balance. This is a good fund balance, but just want to make sure that due to the uncertainty in the economy, I highly recommend these numbers should be a little bit higher, to about like 15 to 20%. Another thing that I would like to bring up to your attention is the schedule of funding progress of the pension plans and other post-employment healthcare plan. Unfortunately, I don't have the standalone information of the pension plan, because your total active participant is less than 100 participants, so therefore CalPERS don't have a standalone information. But as required by GASB 4045, you do have information about your post-employment healthcare plan benefit. The last actuarial study was performed as of July 1st, 2010, and during that time, the city does not have any set aside any asset in an irrevocable trust, so there's no value of asset being set aside. But as of that point, you do have about like close to $60 million of accrued liabilities for the healthcare plan. one of the major event for the current year audit is we have to deal with the dissolution of redevelopment agency. So what was happened in last year is the redevelopment agency is a blended components unit. It is included in the city's financial statement. For the current year, how are we going to report the successor agency and the first 7 months of the redevelopment agency financial statement? So in these financial statement, the first 7 months actually we report it in just like how we do it before. The financial activities are recorded in the city's financial statement. However, after February 1st, 2012, actually it breaks up into two parts. One is the Loma Income Housing Successor Special Revenue Fund, what we also call the Housing Successor Fund, which is reported in the city's financial statement because the city actually take charge of the decide to take over the housing function from the former redevelopment agency. For the non-housing piece, actually everything was transferred to what we call the private purpose trust fund, which is for all the non-housing fund in the financial statement. Summary of the key transactions. Redevelopment agency of the city of Calexico was dissolved as of January 31st, 2012 by law. Successor agency, one, Loma Income Housing Successor Special Revenue Fund and Private Purpose Trust Fund were established as of February 1st, 2012 to account for these transactions. Also, there is a gain was reported in the government-wide financial statement in the amount of $14.4 million, and the same amount was reported as a gain, as a loss should be a loss in the Private Purpose Trust Fund, which was caused primarily the transfer of the $40 million in long-term debt and $18.7 million of net deficits of the redevelopment agency funds. So more information are disclosed in Note 16 of the financial statement, as it's on page 86 to 87. During the current year, we have like two major audit findings here. One, it's relating to a capital asset that was owned by this former redevelopment agency and was not recorded in the general ledger, and that was as a result the net asset and the capital asset balance were understated by about like $1.2 million. The other major findings that we have is actually deal with the internal control over financial reporting. When we were out here to perform our year-end audit, the general ledger were not completely completed and closed prior to our arrival here. So that means there is a significant amount of adjustment being recorded. So here's a list of the adjustment that I'm not going into detail, but there's a list of things that you might need to take into consideration when we prepare for next year audit, because these are usually closing journal entries for the city to close out the books for the audit. Why do we have these kind of findings? We discussed with management. There's a couple things that we also identify is the protocols were not updated and enforced by management. The accounting the manual was outdated and not reflected any change in allocated resource. There's some turnover at the management level, lack of management oversight and the review process, and last but not least, your accounting system is a little bit outdated. Our recommendation here is to make sure that the accounting manuals is developed and developed in full cycle and also updated to make sure that to reflect all the changes in available resource and capacity in the finance department. Also making sure that you train your accounting personnel to make sure that all the accounting functions are performed efficiently and effectively. Update the accounting system, utilizing any automated function from the accounting system and reduce manual efforts in completing reconciliation and analysis. This has been our observation for years that there's a lot of reconciliation and analysis being performed manually, and there are some manual errors that's caused by the human nature errors. We also want to recommend to reevaluate available resource and capacity of the finance department. As what I can tell is due to budget constraint, you might need to shrink down your finance department, but making sure that you provide them enough resource and capacity for the finance department to provide the appropriate function. Allocate proper resource to ensure accounting transactions are properly reflected in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. These are my couple recommendations here. Also, last but not least, the last couple slides here, I would like to bring you up to speed on the most updated GASB statement that will impact the financial statement for the next couple years. GASB statement number 63 and 65, financial reporting and deferred outflows of resource, deferred inflow of resource, and net position. These actually change the model of the how we report the financial statement. There's a couple things that we need to look at, and it's no longer call it an asset or liability because of the length of the transaction, and some of the information are being deferred, such as the pension plans, the unfunded liabilities of the pension plan that will be reported in 2015. Those needs to be appropriately accounted for in the financial statement. So GASB statement number 63 and 65 actually being created to deal with the accounting issues that may come up from the pension accounting standard. So in 2013 and 2014, the financial model of your financial statement is going to change a little bit, but there's not as significant as number 67 and 68, which will put the unfunded liabilities of the pension plan on the financial statement. Just going into a little bit more into detail about pension accounting standard. Current accounting standard, we are using the funding-based standard. But on the new standard, we change it to an accounting base, which means the financial statement is going to display a net pension liability, which is the unfunded liability based on the actuarial study. Also, we are going to amortize the difference of projected investment earnings to actual investment earnings over 5 years. For example, if during this actuarial study, we use a projected investment earning of about like 7.5, which is the current investment earning used by CalPERS. Last year, for example, the CalPERS is only earning 0.1%. The difference between the 7.5% and the 0.1%, it's going to amortize over 5 years and record as an expense during the 5 years period. In case of any change in plan benefit or assumption, should be expensed as follows. If it is for the inactive or retiree, we expense immediately, but if it is for active employees, we expense over the average expected remaining service life. For the cost-sharing plans, special funding situation, and small group should be followed and report pension as a liability too. There's a couple things on the GASB table that they are talking about. Besides the pension accounting, they're also looking at the post-employment benefit accounting and financial reporting. They're also looking at the economic reporting measures. And last but not least, they want to review the GASB statement number 34, the financial reporting of the current model, because it has been about like 13 years, and they want to go back and take a look at it, see if there's any improvement that can be made. Last but not least, I don't have any more to present, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions if you have.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Mr. Pan. Let's all get settled, and I think we might have some questions for you. Okay, we're going to probably do the same routine we always do. Mr. Moreno, do you have any questions for Mr. Pan?
Not at this time.
Excuse me, Mr. Hodge.
Sir, can you elaborate again? You mentioned something about possible streamlining in the finance department. Was that correct?
When we talk about streamlining the finance department, actually the system needs to be updated, because right now, from what I see, the resource that you have is not appropriately being used well managed and used by management before. So that's why this year we have some difficulties going through the audit. That was caused by prior administration. Some of the resource that you have are not they may not be skilled to do the accounting process. Those were being identified and discussed with management already.
Your insight is possibly not skilled, and so
not fully skilled.
Not fully skilled as an accountant.
As an accountant.
Very
yeah.
good. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Okay. Mr. Kim, do you have any questions for Mr. Pun? Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to have the PowerPoint copy because too small to read. If
Not
you
a
can
problem.
send the email to...
Not a problem. Actually, city manager has a
Yes.
copy of.
And I think number 8 was adult results said the significant accounting policies have been consistently applied. What is that means?
That's mean there's a lot of new accounting standard that was being applied by that's being used by the city is constantly applied. There's no change in accounting policies. The city did not change any the assumption method, any basis when they do estimate. They did not change any basis. So that's mean the policy are in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles.
Okay.
Are consistently applied. That's what I meant.
Okay, I think it's Mr. Mr. Rodriguez. I think we've been discussing about some kind of a policy or changing the habit of the accounting system.
Well, and Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically, we need to look at our policies that are currently on board and take a look at them and see if they still fit what we're doing. That will be done, as you remember. Well, you weren't on board, but as some of the council remember, we've had a change of administration, and so now we need to go back and take a look at them and see if they're appropriate or not.
Okay. The other one is page, I think, so page 3, number 11. Is my guessing 11, I believe. They have 11 and 12. We have lots of assets been increasing 12. You said you was increases was, what was the reason cost?
Okay, on page 11, actually going back to the government-wide as a whole, which is the city as a whole, there's an increase in the increase of the net operating income of the city actually dropped it a little bit from last year. It was like $5.6 million. This year was about like close to $4 million. But the majority of the gain is actually the dissolution of the redevelopment agency. Actually, the total extraordinary gain of just disposing the redevelopment agency is it's about like $14.4 million. So that's bringing up the net asset of the city from that's bringing up the net asset of about $18.3 million.
So that is, you're talking about the asset reselling, or why we have the assets going gain from the RDA?
Because you basically take out all the debt is actually servicing by the successor agency. So the debt is actually accounted for in the successor agency. So, and all the deficits are carried over to the successor agency. So at that point, when you get rid of all the deficit and being accounted for in the successor agency, the city is actually better off without the redevelopment agency,
So
based on the accounting numbers, what we looked at.
Okay, so with the last steps, we have a more assets coming
Correct.
from our pocket. Okay. You said we're unqualified. Our budget, I mean, audit is our financial
It's
audit.
unqualified opinion.
Unqualified.
It is an unqualified opinion, which is the best opinion that we can give out. But even though we give out a clean audit opinion, but we do have audit finding that the city still needs to address some of these findings, so that that will help to clean up the internal control here that we noted in the audit as a material weaknesses.
Okay, as an auditor, do you think we're going to have possible to fix those?
Yes.
Thank you. As a manager, Mr. Rodriguez, do we
No
have some
question.
plan for that? after
Well,
that?
as we stated, the first thing we needed to do was obviously identify what the issues were. And so we've done that. Then once we know what the issues are, then we can address them. And you've seen where under this audit, we did some cleanup work, and we will continue to do that. So I have no problem believing that our current administration will be able to do that.
Thank you.
Yes,
Mr. Kessler?
How much is the dollar amount cost to the city on the employee's retirement, on permanent disability? I couldn't find on these pages. Can you tell us about that?
I do not have a
Talking
sum.
about permanent liability. I'm talking about permanent liability.
Permanent liability.
Yes.
On
I
other,
know- I'm-
on what area, like pension or?
Pension, yes.
Okay. Pension, I don't have the information because, as what I said earlier, CalPERS, City of Calexico is in a pool. So I don't like when they issue the actuarial study, I don't have the standalone information for the unfunded liabilities for both miscellaneous plan and the public safety plan. However, when for the post-employment benefit, which is your healthcare benefit for retirees, the last actuarial study was performed as of July 1st, 2010, and at that point you have about like close to $16 million of unfunded liabilities recorded in the financial statement. So on page 80 and 81 of the report, you have a full detail of the other post-employment benefit here.
Ken, I guess maybe we should also discuss a little bit about the fact that we have capped our lifetime medical. So the fact that we have capped our lifetime medical means, I don't know how else to say it other than at some point in time, our members in our lifetime medical will cease to exist. At that point in time, the liability goes away. So because we've capped it, at some point in time, we're not going to have any more members under the lifetime insurance, and therefore our liability will have been erased. Ken?
I'll concur with city manager's comment here, and I do agree. This is only an actuarial study number, and if you cap it out, probably your number will see it going down eventually.
That's it.
Thank you, gentlemen. I have a very simple question that requires a very simple answer.
Sure.
Mr. Hodge and I, we started about 2 years ago, and when we came in, there was very severe financial issues in the city of Calexico. And of course, the staff of the city of Calexico, the finance department, and this council have been working hard and focusing on getting that one issue as best straightened out as possible. Right. And the focus was there quite a bit. However, I believe that at this point in time, there's still some concerns about the possibility of this city having bankruptcy issues.
Right.
And so as far as when I was going through my review with you and staff, I understand that we're nowhere close to that. Can you elaborate?
Sure. Actually,
or one simple answer?
Yes, actually, I've been working with a lot of cities that are in distress mode as of this point, especially one of my clients currently is City of Stockton. I'm actually helping them getting through the bankruptcy issue. Compared to like your financial statement here and compared to other cities, the city of Calexico is nowhere near the bankruptcy as of this point.
Thank you.
Based on what I see. And during the last 2 years, I see operating income than losses. So that's a good thing for the city to do it. The cost control are being well managed here from what I see in the last 2 years. So that's why trying to avoid going through the bankruptcy issue. I think City of Calexico did a tremendous amount of work during the last 2 years to get yourself back in shape.
Thank you. We agree. That's great news.
Can I ask for my raise now? No, just.
No.
Thanks, kid.
But congratulations.
Yes, congratulations to the City of Calexico and the
So I
city
have
staff.
I have a little more question.
Did you want to
because-
ask another question?
Yes.
Sure, go ahead.
Positive, sir.
Okay, a while ago you said when the Mr. Castro was asking about the fixed liability balance. So you telling me to your audit is not based on the fully information?
No, actually, CalPERS, there's in accordance with GASB standard number 27. We just need to disclose the information on the pension plan in the footnote disclosure. We have the information on the CalPERS when they send out the actuarial study that small organization like City of Calexico, where you do not have participant more than 100 participant in each of the plan, that means you don't receive full information from CalPERS, which is allowed under the accounting standard. So that means what we need to do is to disclose that the amount, the pension accounting is in accordance with that accounting standard, but for in 2015, the new pension accounting standard come into play, and at that point, you will have the information disclosed in the financial statement.
When?
2015.
2015.
Which is 3 years from now.
So until that time, we might have some information out there. So
Yes.
we're going to have the audit result without the full information then.
Yes.
Can we, do you by any chance have the percentage that we are currently funding under PRS? Because I think that says a lot. I think we're in the 80s, and San Diego, who's gotten themselves in trouble with the pension, I believe they're in the low 70s.
You know what,
So-
actually, I don't have the information handy here, but I do have the pool information that I can share with you. You're part of the pool, so that means you are at a certain level. If the pool is doing well at about like 80 or 90%, that means City of Calexico is somewhere around that number.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions before we? No? Thank you, Mr. Penn.
Thank you.
That was very enlightening, and thank you for the very professional presentation. We'd like to have you come back again very soon. Okay. After that presentation, we do need to acknowledge receipt and acceptance of the comprehensive annual fiscal report.
So moved.
Second.
So acknowledged, no?
So acknowledged.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Gentlemen? Okay. This council then acknowledges receipt and accepts the comprehensive annual fiscal report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2012.
Can we have a motion, an actual vote on it,
Sure.
please? Thank you.
Gentlemen, let's go ahead and vote for its acknowledgement and its acceptance. Please vote. Thank you, Ms. Lyons. One more, Mr. Castro. Okay, motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Item number 9 under business items is the appointments by City Council to the following commissions and boards. I'm going to go ahead and start off with myself. I have a vacancy under our Historical Commission, and I understand that Ms. Loli Torres is not yet appointed to this commission. I'd like to appoint Ms. Loli Torres. Next item, item B, is Mayor Pro Tem Hodge. Your vacancy is the Recreation Commission and Historical Commission, so if you'd like to name your Recreation Commission member first.
Yes, Madam Mayor, Angel Uribe.
Okay, great.
And at this point in time, I have no one for Historical Commission.
Okay. Next time? Okay. Item number C is Councilman Castro vacancies, and you need to appoint someone for your Financial Advisory Board.
I would like to wait until the next public council meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. And last but not least, item D is Councilman Moreno. Your vacancy is on the Police Commission.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'd like to appoint Joe Bielma to that commission, and he is here in the audience.
Congratulations, Mr. Bielma. That is a very important commission for the City of Calexico.
I also would like to open a vacancy for the financial advisory. It appears that my appointee cannot make it. I don't know if he's sent a letter of resignation, but he's told me verbally that he's not able to attend due to extenuating circumstances. From my appointee.
We can put the removal on the next agenda.
Okay.
Okay, I believe that that is all the items on our agenda today, so this meeting is adjourned.